Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Jarbo. This is Stranger Days for the 23rd of January, 2019. And man, winter sucks. It sucks. Here in Washington, it's pouring down rain. Better than snow, but still, the weather is not California. Hey, talk all the crap you want about California. You pay for the weather. It makes people crazy. Not as bad as Florida, but you still pay for the damn weather. But that being said, I got a good lineup of stuff to talk about today, a good lineup of things to get through, and I think it's going to be a fun show. I also want to remind you guys, for those of you who watch and those of you who check it out after the fact, you can always call in. We have a voicemail line, 323-207-0499. That's 323-207-0499. You guys can call and ask questions if you want to ask me anything specific, not related to these subject matters, but other things that are going on in the world that I don't talk about. You can do that, or you can email me at strangerdayspodcast@gmail.com. And then also, if you do not live in the United States and cannot call in with the voicemail line, you can use the email and record like a 30-second audio clip, send that to me, and I can use that as well. Again, I really want to build up a rapport with you guys and really build up a community here on the podcast, and I think that's the best way to go about it. So as soon as you guys want to start doing it, it'd be great. In the meantime, I'm going to keep pimping it until it happens, so suck on it, people. With that being said, let's talk about Fallout 76. And there was a rumor going around about it that basically said it's going free to play. Fallout 76, 3 months after its release, 2 months, really, 2.5 months, kind of. It's so terrible that it's going free to play. Except we're finding out now that that's not the case. This was a story that I caught wind of and I wanted to talk about because it just felt so juicy in regards to gaming. It felt so funny in regards to the fact that this is such a torrential failure, right? That this is such a terrible, terrible, terrible situation that Bethesda finds itself in. We're talking like company ending type stuff. You know what I mean? Like the fallout from Fallout 76, pun intended, is going to have ramifications for the next Elder Scrolls game, the next Bethesda game studio, or game studios game. Like, this is going to have issues. So going free to play actually felt like a really solid idea. It's like, look, you guys, you have microtransactions, you're doing that whole thing. Why not go free to play and just make that the reality and then see what happens? Maybe rebuild some goodwill with people. And I'm all about rebuilding goodwill with people, but that's not the case. It says here that it's fair to say that Fallout 76 did not get off to the smoothest start in the history of video games. Even so, a recent rumor that it's about to go free to play, fueled by reports that physical copies of the game are in short supply in Australia, although the website indicates that there's still plenty of stock available, so make of it what you will, and wild speculation seemed pretty clear to be without basis. But it was persistent enough that Bethesda nipped over to Twitter to officially shoot it down. Responding to a comment here asking if 76 goes free to play, I want my money back, straight up. 500 atoms ain't gonna cut it this time. As a diehard fan, there's no coming back to that slap in the face, which is a very, very, very fair and astute criticism. If a person drops 60 bones on a game actually, I don't even think Fallout 76 is 60 bones anywhere right now. It keeps going on sale, but I still keep looking at it like, $20. We'll talk when it's $20 is when I'll dive into the sucker. That's my threshold for 76. $20 is how I view it. That's the metric I'm going by here. But I can see someone being super upset at this and going, no, man, fuck this. I want my money back. And of course they come back and there's like, there is no truth to that rumor. But here's the thing. It should go free to play. It absolutely should go free to play. I don't think anyone out there is going to fully deny that the game has problems. That not only is it just a buggy mess in a way that is unbecoming of a Bethesda, main studio release, that they've been banning modders who showcase footage on YouTube that have been able to find exploits. People found that treasure room with like every item in the game. Those people were banned. You have a dropping off player base, people not wanting to engage with the product. And even though Bethesda's probably thinking to themselves, if we played a long game, we will be fine. A lot of people out there are probably thinking, I don't want to play that long game. They're going to come back like me when it's cheaper to get into it, when the bugs have been fixed, when there's been patches. Like I said, there's something endearing about diving into a Bethesda game when it releases, because you don't know what exactly is going to happen, whether there's going to be bugs, whether there's going to be glitches, whether you're going to lose your save file. It is a crapshoot, but it's also kind of a fun, exciting crapshoot in those early days. In a single player offline experience, in an online multiplayer game that's really devoid of content right now. No, that's not good. This is the problem with games as a service. This is the problem when these companies decide to release these products without really fleshing out what they want to do with it. And by having a completely open world that's 4 times the size of Fallout 4, right? Somewhere like four times the size, I think, right? It's got 16 individual quadrants, but like 4 times the size. And not having NPCs and only having like audio logs and text files to read. This is a blunder, man. This is a huge blunder, and one that they should fix by going free to play as soon as humanly possible. I mean, look what happened with Elder Scrolls Online. It went free to play. They've released the Morrowind expansion. People have bought it. People still play it. It's getting a lot better. Fallout 76 needs the exact same treatment. So it's dumb for them to shoot the rumor down. But then again, who knows? E3 is only a couple months out, and if they're still being hammered by all of these problems by then, I wouldn't be surprised if at Bethesda's E3 event, that probably won't happen this year, by the way. I don't think it's going to happen this year. But around that time, them announcing free-to-play seems to be like probably the best idea. That, or if they really want to like divert away from everything, they're going to sit there and go, well, Elder Scrolls is coming out before Star Force. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, this game is not getting any better, and that's no bueno. All right, so jumping over here, this is a crazy story, and I didn't even realize that the Switch was selling as well as it was. I've had my Switch for 2 years. I enjoy my Switch. I don't play it as often as I play other things, but after losing it, after it being stolen by TSA when I was at LAX in the fall of 2017, and then magically, mysteriously, by the way, getting it back about 3 weeks later, intact and working just fine. I have an appreciation for my Switch now a lot more than other people, but still it's outsold every other console in the United States. It says here, demand for the Nintendo Switch didn't cool down one iota in 2018. The NPD Group has published its sales data for that year, and the Switch was the top selling system in both the US in terms of dollars and raw unit count, outpacing previous records set by the PS4 in 2015. Things were even rosier in December. The Switch had the best-selling units of any console for that month since 2010, and the best dollar sales since the Wii Mania of December 2009. And yeah, I mean, obviously, Super Smash Bros. Had a big part of that. I think we all can agree that Smash coming out and it being the Ultimate Edition really moved a lot of units, considering now it's portable in a way that it was never portable before. I know my brothers lost their shit over the game. Now, it says it wasn't a champion in the software realm. In a shock to absolutely no one, Red Dead Redemption 2 was the best-selling game of 2018, followed by Black Ops 4 and NBA 2K9. I can confirm Red Dead Redemption 2 has swallowed my life. The game came out almost 3 months ago, and it's literally the only game I have played since its release. I'm still balls deep in Red Dead Online. Don't ask me why I'm still there, but I am. But I get it. Not that Nintendo is about to leave sobbing. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was the 5th hottest game of the year, buoyed by a strong December where it held the charts. Think about it like this. Of all the games that came out in 2018, and there were a lot of really solid games in 2018, Monster Hunter World, God of War, lots of games, Spider-Man, right? Lots and lots of games. In just the span of 3 weeks, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was the 5th highest selling game of the year. That should tell you something about where it is with Nintendo right now. It says researchers didn't explain just why Nintendo thrived, but it's easy to offer a few potential explanations. Games sell systems, and Nintendo had several quality titles high in the charts, like Mario Kart 8 and Breath of the Wild. There's also the question of value. As before, the Switch can appeal to people whether they want a living room machine or a portable gaming rig. It simply has a larger potential audience than its TV-focused counterparts. While the PS4 and the Xbox One are more powerful, they are not as flexible. And that is absolutely true. I mean, I can pick this sucker up right here and then put it right back. turned on. I can put it right back right there. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. And it's one of those things that's interesting that it has the power to do that. Now, granted, when you're talking about a gaming rig, most people look at, frame rate and resolution and features. And the Switch, it's a bit lacking in those departments. When you run Breath of the Wild on the Switch on a television, you're only going to be getting 900p. But it's Breath of the Wild and it looks fantastic on a television or portable, so you make up, you let that go. But it's good to see that Nintendo is getting a win off the Switch. I just want them to figure out the multiplayer situation, get their online stuff way more stable, and then it might be a better competitor in that particular marketplace. But what this tells me, with the Switch being the number one console in 2018, is that one, a lot of people had PS4s. I think PS4 is still the number one sold console out of this generation. But two, people like the portable gaming experience in a way that allows for this type of coming and going by playing it portable or on your TV. And I think that's going to be the wave of the future. I wouldn't be surprised if the PS5 or the next Xbox or whatever kind of focus on having something similar like this as well. But hey, at the end of the day, congrats to Nintendo. You guys absolutely earned it. And I look forward to seeing what you release in 2019. So, here's a great one. Japan. Never a dull moment in Japan. Let's look at this headline here. 7-Eleven, other stores to stop selling hentai in Japan by August 2019 due to foreigners and Olympics. Gotta love the Japanese, right? It's all like, oh no, when no one's looking, we buy hentai, but when people are coming, we can't do it. Now it says here, by the end of August 2019, 15,000 out of the 20,000 7-Eleven shops in Japan will stop selling hentai magazines and adult comics on their store shelves due to women, children, and foreigners. In an article published here on Asahi Shimbun Digital, it says, convenience store 7-Eleven Japan and Lawson announced on the 21st that the domestic sale of adult magazines within the store would evidently be discontinued by the end of August. This is being done in consideration of customers who are women, children, and foreign visitors. First and foremost, something that's adult and behind the counter, it's clearly going to be held behind an age restriction. So ultimately, that's not that big of a deal. Ultimately, that's not something you should really be worried about. But I can kind of see where they're coming from in some of those respects. But I still can't help but just laugh my ass off at the fact they want to get rid of hentai. You go to is it just because hentai's not selling? Is that what it is? Is that really what it is overall? Instead of trying to blame women, children, and foreigners? I hate to break it to you. It's 7-Eleven. People masturbate in all cultures. So, you're not really stopping anything. You're just moving everything to the internet, and you're cutting off a solid revenue stream from those people who prefer the physical feeling of a magazine in their hand while they whack it with the other. He goes on to say here that several other shops have also stopped selling adult magazines and hentai on the store shelves, including Aeon Group, which pulled the magazines back in 2018 out of 7,000 stores. Family Mart, another chain, also pulled the magazines out of approximately 2,000 shops out of the total 17,000 located around Japan. According to the article, physical retail sales of adult magazines have been down by about a third of what they were a decade ago, and mostly upheld by elderly gentlemen who like to purchase fine erotic material. Because that's the thing. Look, you can go digital. You can have it be digital. You can have all the porn you want be on your phone or your computer and whatever. But it's kind of like, the MP3 craze versus vinyl, right? You got your connoisseurs that are like, look, it sounds fine. 128 kilobits per second. It sounds fine. But what I really want is the smooth sound of a vinyl, right? That's what it is. It's fine, elegant porn connoisseurs of printed pornography. Also, the elderly really suck at technology, I'm pretty sure, even in Japan. And like I said, I just want to reiterate my last point there. Everyone masturbates in every culture. You're not telling me anything new here. Now, the sort of news shouldn't be too shocking to anyone considering that back in December 2018, when Senran Kagura producer Kenshiro Takaki blatantly mentioned that fan service and ecchi content was slowly being driven away due to some part by the upcoming 2020 Olympics and the dreaded Japanese colloquialism known as world trends. This has even been extended as far as censoring rude gestures in the Blu-ray release of Dragon Ball, and that's not to mention Sony's strict censorship implications that have affected nearly every new game being released in Japan that contains lewd content. And yeah, that's kind of where we find ourselves here. The West is encroaching itself on Japanese sensibilities, which has a lot of people out there getting really, really, really upset. Because they don't want that. They don't want the West's idea of what is considered morally pure to infect content from another country and another culture. I get that. I understand that. But the fact that 7-Elevens are pulling out of hentai is kind of like it's a kind of a pinkies up situation, isn't it? It's kind of a pour one out for your homies sort of thing, because the elderly are eventually going to die, and with that goes a fine connoisseur taste for printed, drawn erotica. All right, let's talk about Count Dankula. Because I know Marcus. I've known Marcus for a couple years. Marcus is a really good guy, and he's in an impossible situation, being absolutely lambasted by the Scottish courts because they are really trying to hammer him over something that they just don't understand the context. I mean, this literally is a situation about a pug giving a Nazi salute and it being a joke. I've been covering this particular story for years. I think I was one of the first YouTubers to talk about the Count Dankula situation back in the day and how stupid it was, and where it's at now has even gone stupider than where it began, which is just one of the reasons why I think as the older I get, I'm just thinking to myself, man, like, when is this ever really going to end? And I don't think for Dankula it's ever actually going to end. This is his personal Vietnam. you know Like, and all over trying to just get little Buddha to do a little joke. It says here that man who was fined for posting an online video of a dog carrying out Nazi salutes has failed in a bid to challenge his conviction. I'm never going to get over that, by the way. I am never going to get over that situation of Dankula and the whole, the dog with the Nazi salutes. Anyway, Mark Meechan recorded his girlfriend's pug, Buddha, his fiance's pug. Thank you very much. He proposed and she said yes. Okay, BBC, where is your journalistic standards here? Where is your ethics to do your proper research? The dude's engaged and possibly going to be working for UKIP if they have their say. Now it says here. He was fined £800 at Ardee Sheriff Court and had, or Airdrie, Sheriff Court, and had hoped to challenge the case to the highest court in the land. But now it's been blocked by Scotland's most senior judges. Of course, old fuddy-duddies that can't understand a joke. I thought the Scottish loved to drink and laugh. You're a bunch of, pansies. It says here, Meechan from Coatbridge, North Lanarkshire, that's a fucking mouthful, has raised more than £75,000 through an online appeal to help pay for the challenge. The 31-year-old denied committing an offense under the Communications Act during a trial last year, but was found guilty of breaching it by posting the grossly offensive film. Was it really grossly offensive? That's always a question that I like to ask when you talk about this with people who don't know Dankula as a person, don't know any bit about him as to who he is or what he is, attempting to do with it. They don't know his jokes. I mean, he has a video putting an anime wig on me and talking about sex with me. That was a fun one. Thanks, Dank. like you got to know his humor. And so when you explain it, right, it always is terrible to have to explain the joke, but in this particular case, context matters. And once you explain it to somebody, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. Right. So it's kind of like, I was talking about memes with my mom. Quick side story. I was talking about memes with my mom, And she asked me what my favorite meme was. And I said, it's the Hitler did nothing wrong. And she looks at me like, that is what, I don't even understand what that means. Like, of course he did everything wrong. He was a mass murdering fuckhead, if you want to quote Eddie Izzard. And I'm like, yes, he was terrible. And I'm glad he's gone. But, and I explained the joke. And the joke there is it was an online contest to rename Mountain Dew. And as we learned from Bodie McBoatface, never have the internet name anything. Period. Right? And so 4chan got a hold of this. 4chan made it number one, and it caused the, Mountain Dew to pull the competition. And and I think for me, one of the reasons why also it's impactful on me was because when I ran for governor of California back 15 years ago, I won a radio station contest that was due to online voting. So, for me, it's a bigger issue, but that's just my own personal story on that one. And then what we have here, though, is when Mountain Dew pulled it down, effectively immortalizing the meme, people printed out labels of like Hitler did nothing wrong in the Mountain Dew style, and then went to a store and put it on Mountain Dew bottles and then took pictures because it's funny. No one is laughing at what Hitler did because he was a mass murdering fuckhead. What we're laughing at is the absurdity of the joke. And when you understand the context of it, then it's like, oh, okay. But these old fuddy-duddy judges, they don't know nothing. They don't know shit. They're just dumb. Now, Sheriff, he says here that he claimed the video was only intended as a joke to upset his girlfriend, which is very true. Sheriff Derek O'Carroll fined him £800 and a subsequent attempt by Meechan to challenge his conviction at the Sheriff Appeal Court, where the judges are senior sheriffs, failed after it was rejected in the initial sifting process. Meechan's lawyers then raised a petition seeking to have the High Court use its powers to allow an appeal to be taken to the UK Supreme Court in London. But Scotland's senior judge, Lord Justice General Lord Carloway, sitting with Lord Justice Clerk Lady Dorian and Lord Menzies. Dude, your name is Lord Menzies. Come on, get that changed. You're a judge. You can do that, no problem. Rejected the move, saying they had no power to allow any further appeal in the circumstances of the case, which I think is crap. I think when you're when you're the highest judges of the land, you have the ability to do this. You have the ability to change this. You could do something. It's so ridiculous that they're blocking him. Now, it says here that the consequences have been immense. Meechan has sought to pursue as a human rights appeal, including a claim under Article 10, which covers freedom of expression. Now, if you ever wonder why Dankula supports some of the things he supports on Twitter in regards to free speech, this is the reason. He is advocating for everyone to have the right to say what they want, because he doesn't want to see what's happening to him happen to other people, and that is commendable. Now, as senior counsel, Dorothy Bain argued that the petition was competent and necessary to advance the challenge brought by Meechan. She said the consequences of his conviction for this breach of the Communications Act have been immense for him, both professionally and personally, which is true. Count Dankula has been branded a Nazi, been branded a white supremacist, been branded a terrible person online. He's been treated like he's scum. And if you ever spend any time just talking with him, he's like a cuddly ass mofo, You look at him, you're just all like, he's a good dude. He's a solid guy. He's a person I'm very happy to know. And I feel very bad for him. I feel that he's gotten very screwed in the situation. And of course, that has everything to do with the government and how they're acting. Well, like a bunch of cunts. Just saying. All right, guys, that actually wraps up today's episode of the show. This Dankula thing really does piss me off. Because, Dank is not a bad guy. He's a good boy, didn't do nothing, and he's being treated like crap. He's being run through the ringer for no other reason than people out there just want to try to use him as an example to, I don't know, feel better about themselves or some such shit. But in the meantime, all we can do is support him and keep him with the fight. Even though he'll probably go to jail for it. So anyway, here's the thing. If you guys made it all the way through to the end of the podcast, let me know by typing meme in the chat so I know. Just that way it helps me out. I can see. And if you guys want to help support the channel, which I really hope you guys do, you can do that through Streamlabs, the one-time donation through Streamlabs or PayPal. Links below in the video description. You can also become a channel member. The link for that is also right below. And there's also Patreon and whatnot. I very much enjoy doing the show. I want to bring you guys a lot of crazy stories, 3 to 4 of them a day. And I appreciate everyone watching and commenting and putting up with the fact that I clip these things out and throw them up at the end of the day in order to bring more people back to the show. That's just kind of where it's at. But anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Since you're here, why don't leave a comment? Let me know what you think about stuff. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do that as well. You check out any of these great, fantastic, amazing commentary tracks by me. That's right. I'm not egotistical or narcissistic at all. I'm just your average, everyday, normal YouTuber. Thanks for watching.